Peace, everybody. What's good? It's our boy George Malachi Williams, and you are now tuned to the We Buy Homes Fast in Florida podcast. Let's go. Peace, everybody. What's good? It's our boy George Malachi Williams. And in this particular podcast, we want to talk about what are some of the pros and cons when it comes to dealing with the real estate agent versus dealing with a real estate investor. Both of them have pros and both of them have cons. And depending on what your situation is, you might need to decide which one will be best for you and your family. So let's take a quick look. I don't want to make this video long, but I do want to make this video as informative as possible. And it is for educational purposes. Just something to think about when you're looking at selling your property. You want to look at all of the factors. You want to factor in everything that you're going to need in order to know when it comes to selling your property with the real estate agent versus selling it with the real estate investor. All right, now, even in a seller's market like Florida, which is what I'm in, it's smart to look at all of your options and see what will actually help you best reach your goals with the sale of your house. While you may be able to get a higher top line sales price listing with a local Hollywood agent, that doesn't always boil down to more money in your pocket or less headache. Now let's dive into the details below and compare some of your options. If you're selling your property through a real estate agent, you're going to have to pay commissions or some kind of fees, right? And you're going to have to pay on 6% on average is paid by the actual seller. So if you're selling your property, you're going to pay 6% of commissions to the real estate agent. If you're dealing with a real estate investor, like We Buy Homes Fast in Florida, you don't pay any commissions. There's none of that because we do cash offers. Now, who pays the closing costs? Now, everyone knows that, when you're trying to sell property in Florida, but definitely in Hollywood, Florida, 2% on average is paid by the actual seller. So if you're selling your property, not only are you going to pay 6% commissions to the real estate agent, but you're going to have to cover the closing costs, which will be 2%. So when you're dealing with your real estate investor, like We Buy Homes Fast in Florida, or investment company, we pay all of the closing costs. So you don't pay commissions within a real estate investor like us, and you don't pay closing costs. You don't pay closing costs. Now, we're looking at inspection and financing contingencies. So if you have an inspector that come out that's going to do an inspection, you're going to have to pay, the inspector, and you're going to have to pay inspection fees for that inspector to come out and look at your property and just inspect the property to see if anything needs to be updated. Are there any code violations or whatever? You're going to need that. And you're not going to be able to find anyone who's going to buy your property without that property being inspected, because they want to make sure that they're buying a good property. So you're going to have to pay the inspection fees, and you're going to have to look at the financing contingency. I'm going to explain that to you, what the financing contingency is at the bottom of the actual of this presentation right here. And you need to know that up to 15% of all sales fall through. So, a lot of times if you're dealing with the realtor, you're going to have to worry about, even if they bring someone to show your property, even if they bring someone that they can show your property to, you're going to have to worry about, damn, is this deal going to fall through? Or is this going to actually be the one that qualifies to buy my home? So if the deal falls through, guess what? That's more time you're going to have to hold the property. That's more time you're going to have to pay mortgage. That's more time you're going to have to pay property taxes. That's more time you're going to have to pay HOA fees, insurance, and so on and so on and so on, and even utility bills. When you're dealing with a real estate investor like We Buy Homes Fast in Florida, you don't pay any inspection fees or financing contingency. You don't have to worry about that. Now, let's look at appraisals. All appraisals is always needed, because when you're dealing with a buyer who wants to buy your property, they want the property, you want the property appraised. They want to know, what is the property appraised for, so they'll know if they're paying too much for the property or not. They're going to want to see that. You're going to have to pay them appraisal fees. You know what I mean? And every time, as you can see on the screen, every time the sale is subject to appraisal. So not only they want it inspected, but the sale is subject to appraisal. Based on what the appraisal says, that's what that's what they're going to pay you for the property. They don't want to pay you any more on that. So that's what you're going to have to look at. When you're dealing with a company like We Buy Homes Fast in Florida, there is no appraisal fees that you're going to have to pay. You're going to have to pay appraisal fees that you're going to have to pay. There's none needed, because we make cash offers. And we see the property, we like it, bam, we offer you cash for your property right then on the spot. Now, what is the average days that your property, it may take for your property to be sold? If you're dealing with the real estate agent, and they're going to put your property on the MLS, you're looking at 91 days or more that your property is going to sit on the MLS, right? So if it let's say your property sits on the MLS for 3 months. That's 3 months you're going to have to pay mortgage. That's 3 months you're going to have to pay utility. That's 3 months you're going to have to pay HOA fees. That's 3 months you're going to have to pay insurance, and so on and so on and so on that you may be paying. When you're dealing with the real estate investor, we make cash offers. So you don't have to worry about the waiting process. You don't have to worry about your property just sitting there and it's draining your pockets because you got to consistently spend money to keep it up and pay it while you're waiting for it to get sold. Now, let's look at the number of showings. If you're dealing with a real estate agent, they may just show your property to one person and that's it. And that person qualifies, everything goes through, they buy the property. But they may can show your property up to 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, or 10 people. They may show your property to a lot of people. And for some reason, the people backs out of the deal. They like it, it sparks their interest a little bit. They come see it, but they don't buy. So all of those times that you're waiting for someone to buy, that's money that's still coming out of your pocket that you got to pay. When you're dealing with a company like We Buy Homes Fast in Florida, you don't have to worry about that. It's just one company you're dealing with. You're dealing with us. Now, let's look at the actual closing date. I jumped ahead of the gun, but it went right into that. So closing date when you're dealing with the real estate agent, it's anywhere from 30 to 60 days or more, right? Sometimes sometimes it could be 30 days. Sometimes it could be 60 plus days. So, and that's how long you have to wait after the actual buyer accepts the offer. So if you have a buyer who accepts your offer, it could take up to 60 days or more in order for it to close. So now, what are you looking at? You're looking at, on average, it takes your unit to sell 91 plus days. So you're waiting on that. And then let's say it takes 3 months, right? And then once you find a buyer who wants to buy your property, it can take up to 60 days for them to close. So you're talking about 5 months extra that you're going to be waiting, spending money, mortgage, insurance, HOA fees, taxes, utilities. That's 5 more months you're going to have to pay in order to keep that property up until it closes. When you're dealing with a company like We Buy Homes Fast in Florida, you pick the closing date. We make an offer, you accept it, we have a deal, we deal with attorneys, we deal with the title company, and you may say, hey, I want to close next week, or I want to close in 2 weeks. It's done. We make it happen. That's one of the pros of dealing with the real estate investors versus dealing with going through an agent in order to sell your property. And now let's look at repairs. Who pays for the repairs? Now, when you're dealing with a real estate agent, the repairs are negotiated during the inspection period. So you're going to negotiate and see who's going to pay the repairs and all of that during the inspection period. When you're dealing with when you're dealing with a company like We Buy Homes Fast in Florida, you don't have to worry about who pays for repairs. We're going to pay for the repairs. You don't have to worry about anything. You don't have to do anything to the property, anything to the house, no inspection fees, no appraisals. We handle everything. And I mean that. It's very fast and painless. Now, it might be for you and it might not be for you. So this is just letting you know some of your options. Now, let's work the numbers and see which way helps you get to where you're trying to go, or which way helps you get there. When you really work the numbers and you start to see the real benefits that each way of selling your Florida house offers, yes, here at We Buy Homes Fast in Florida, we won't be able to offer you the full retail value of your house. So that is true. But we can offer other benefits that going the traditional route of selling your house can't offer. So let's look at some of those benefits. So from offer to close and cash in your hand in as little as 7 days, you can't beat that. That's very, very convenient. You can get rid of the headache of the property fast and avoid paying any more utility payments, tax payments, insurance payments, mortgage payments. You get the drill. If you list your house and wait 90 plus days to close, you can figure in and you have to. Now, this is a must. When you look at how long you're going to keep that property, you're going to have to figure in all of the costs of holding that property during the time you have that property listed and are waiting for the property to close. Remember, we ran it down. When you list it, it's going to stay on the MLS at least 90 plus days or more. If it stay on there 90 plus days, you're talking about maybe 100 days, 120 days, that's 4 months. And then once you do find a buyer, it's going to take at least 60 plus days to close. So you're talking about 6 months you can wait before you even get rid of that property, which is 6 months worth of money going out of your pocket. And don't worry about fixing up anything or cleaning the house ever again and again after buyer after buyer. And what this means is this. Let's say every time a listing agent that you hired brings someone to view your property, right? You're going to have to, clean the house up, make sure it's nice and presentable so it can look right for the actual buyer that's coming to buy your property. You don't have to worry about that, when you're dealing with when you're dealing with the real estate investment company. We don't care how dirty your house is because we've seen worse, or how many repairs are needed. A complete fixer, no problem, great. We love those kind of projects. We like to make an offer on your house. This saves you time and money that you can keep in your pocket. Remember, time is a factor, and it's very convenient when you're looking to get rid of your property fast. Don't worry about paying those pesky closing fees either. We got you covered. Remember, real estate investment companies, we take care of the closing costs. So you don't have to worry about that. Because we are a full service professional home buyer here in Florida, we make it easy for you. We pay all of the closing costs, and what we offer you is what you get. And of course, minus any mortgage payoffs or other encumbrances on the property. Pretty refreshing, you know what I mean? So when you look at that, it's very, very convenient when you're dealing with a company like us. So when you add up all of the time that you can save by working with a company like We Buy Homes Fast in Florida, you get no hassle, you get the no hassle experience, and the money that you will save on commissions, fees, and holding costs while you wait to sell the traditional route with dealing with the real estate agent. For many area home buyers right here in Hollywood, Florida, selling to a professional house buyer is the best valuable option. So the question is this for you? Is this for you in order to sell your house to a company like We Buy Homes Fast in Florida? So let's see for yourself. See for yourself and get a fair all-cash offer for your house today. What do you have to do? Just fill out the short form below and give us a call at 305-778-2108 and let's chat. Our process is pretty simple, and you can close on the date of your choice. So you don't have to wait 5-6 months in order to close. You can close on the date of your choice in order to close on this property that you're trying to sell. You have nothing to lose by getting an offer. So we offer you something. You don't lose anything. If you don't like the offer, you turn it down and you keep it moving. And that's it. It's really that simple. There's no obligation and no pressure. But you could potentially lose thousands of dollars or months of your time by not testing out and requesting your free house offer below. You may get exactly what you want by filling out the form. So you literally have nothing to lose. Now remember earlier in the video, we talked about the inspection contingency. So let's break that down and look at what is the inspection contingency and what is the financing contingency. Now, an inspection contingency lets the buyer, the person who is interested in buying your property, have time to do an inspection and back out of the sale or negotiate a new price if there are repairs that need to be done based on their inspection. Now, if you can't come up with an agreement with the buyer has the right to back out of the sale. Similar, a financing contingency gives the buyer the wiggle room to back out of the purchase if they can't obtain a loan or if the home doesn't appraise for the value that the bank needs to close the loan. So those are some of the factors that you're going to have to look at, right? When it comes to selling your property through a real estate agent. Understand what an inspection contingency is and understand what a financing contingency is. Now, here at We Buy Homes Fast in Florida, we don't use bank financing, so you don't have to worry about the ability to be able to close on the deal or our ability to be able to close on the deal. So as I said before, just visit the website. The link is going to be in the description below. I'm going to have all of my social media links that you can get in contact with us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You're going to be able to look at, and even the YouTube channel. We're going to have all of the links in the description below. Just reach out to us and make sure you visit our website at www.webuyhomesfastinflorida.com. That's www.webuyhomesfastinflorida.com. Fill out the form by visiting the website or give us a call. And don't forget to click the description below in the video for more information. Once again, it's our boy George Malachi Williams, and you are now tuned to the We Buy Homes Fast in Florida podcast.